can be traded. My heart's a bit spaded. I'm not too prideful to up and leave. You've been on complacent. The tides have been changing. Love is just patience and for you.
What's up, bookish babes? Welcome to day 5 of a week of favorite Make It Bookish. I am Keon Lachey. If you're new here, I gladly appreciate if you take 1 second and go down below and hit that subscribe button, that bell right next to it, so you can be notified of all my future videos. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my favorite summer reads. Now, I have a few that's on Kindle, but in I think like day 3, I told you guys I'm gonna do a my favorite Kindle reads. So we're gonna kind of save that one for that video so that you guys can, see what I like to read on Kindle, on KU, if you could say. Now, the first book I want to mention to you guys is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. She wrote Icebreaker, and this is the second installment into that series. It follows Russ and what is this girl name? Aurora, Rory. We're gonna call her Rory. It follows Russ and Rory. They meet one day at this frat house party, hook up, and then they kind of look at it as like a one night stand. But comes to find out, the next day they're both going away to this summer camp to work as camp council advisors, whatever people call it. They both end up at the same summer camp, working there as counselors, and it's kind of awkward at first, but I really enjoyed this book so much because I love Russ. He's one of those I guess you can say like golden retriever types. He's very shy. You meet him in Icebreaker. He's a part of this hockey team. If you ever read Hannah Grace's book, let me show you Icebreaker just in case for the people who may not have read Icebreaker. But Icebreaker is a sports romance where it follows Anastasia and Nate. Anastasia is a ballerina, an ice skater, I think. I think she's like a figure skater, and he is what is they called? What are they called? Ooh, hockey player. Yeah, I was right. He's a hockey player. So Russ is on the same team as Nate, and they live in the same house. So you're gonna be seeing Nate and just like I guess, yeah, you're gonna be seeing Nate and Anastasia in this book as well. So if you wanna, you can read them, but it's interconnecting standalones. Next one is Beach Read by Emily Henry. This one follow Augustus. I think that's how you spell it. Gus. It followed Gus in January. January ends up going up to her father's lake house to sell it, and Gus is her next door neighbor. I guess that you can say they're like what is it? Dang it. Yo, when I get on this camera and start talking to y'all, my brain completely just fly out the window. But Gus is, I think they went to the same college at one point, and he is a fictional writer, and January is a romance writer. And while on this, I guess, trip, if you can say, they decide to switch genres for a week. Well, I guess until they finish writing the book and see who book sells the most. So I really enjoyed the romance in this book. I enjoyed the little scenes of them giving each other like tips on how they write books. Like being that they switch genres, they give each other tips on how they write their books. They format their books and everything. I really enjoyed August in January. Let's get my brain together. Now the next one, it is Mary Jane. Y'all, I love this book. I gave this book a 5-star when I read this book. It takes place in 1970 Baltimore. It's about this 14-year-old girl named Mary Jane who she's born in this type of family where her mom believes the wife should cook, clean, do everything for the man, like be the home carer. Carer is not a word. She should be the main person taking care of the home. And January gets this job babysitting for the Cones, where Mrs. Cone, she don't believe in all, like, we all gonna do our part in this household. That's what she believes. She believes in free range for her kids, and Mary Jane gets to see a different side of life, and that everyone is not like her mom and her dad, like so black or white. So I really enjoyed this. If you haven't read this one, please read this one. This one's so good. It is so good. When I read, I was fairly surprised because I'm usually not the type of person that likes to read books that was taking place in the 1980s or the 70s, but I really, 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 really enjoyed this one. It was so good. Oh, so good. I enjoyed reading about the Cones. I enjoyed reading about their kids and how Mary Jane, it's like a coming of age story, if I must say. They end up going on this family trip where Mary Jane was invited and she went along with them on a beach, and it was so good, y'all. If you haven't read Mary Jane, please do. Let me let y'all in, let y'all see the cover. Please read it. It's so good, y'all. The next one is a recent release. It is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This one, now, I feel like this is like my favorite Abby Jimenez book ever because it's one that I actually remember for the most part. Cause y'all, I feel like when I'm reading Abby Jimenez books, they're so good that I fly through them and they just go out my brain. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but they're so good though. Like, neither one of her books that I've read have been a miss for me, but for some reason, I just cannot, for the life of me, remember what I read in her other books. But this one follows Emma and Justin. Justin write a Reddit review about this curse. It's like the good luck charm curse where he dates a girl, and then after they break up, she goes off and find her one and get married and fall in love. And Emma said she has the same curse. They goes to DM each other back and forth, and they decided to date each other and break up just for them to see if the curse will break, cancel itself off and break, so that when they break up, they can find their first true love. And it's a lot. It's a lot going on in this book, but I love Justin. It's not simply about Justin and Emma breaking the curse. You get you get to see inside Justin's family. You get to see inside Emily's family. You get to see how their mothers play a part in their upbringings and what's going on with their mom in the background of the story. You also get to meet Emma's best friend, and it's a whole bunch going on in here that made the book so good, that stood out to me. If you haven't read Just for the Summer, please read it. If you want to make this your first Abby Jimenez book, you can read them because you can read them as standalones, because it's not, you're not like really, how can I put it? You're not really seeing much of the other characters in it, but you do get a glimpse of some of the characters from, I think, Part of Your World. It Part of Your World? I don't know which book they was in, but they was in a book before this. It's like two books before this series for this book. So if you want to read all three of them, do so. I suggest you do because all three are good. But this one's my favorite, mainly because I can remember what's going on in it. Now, the next book I have to recommend is Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. A lot of people say this book reminds them of, was it Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren? And the crazy thing is, I don't think I really cared for Love in Other Words like that, but I really enjoyed this one. This one follows Percy and Sam. They meet one summer when Percy, I think her father ends up buying, yo, I don't even remember this book. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think her father ends up buying a lake house. Mm-hmm. I'm so done with this girl. Anyways, the next read is Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. Now, when this book came out, a lot of people stated that this book reminded them of Love Another Word by Christina Lauren. It's basically about Percy and Sam. Her parents bought this house next to Sam and his brother and his mom or whatever. And I want to say like for 6 summers, they went back to back to this lake house until something ended up happening between Percy and Sam that you end up finding out at the end of the book what happened, which was crazy. It crazy because like why would you do that? But something that happened. They end up not speaking for I want to say some years, and then moms died, and she go back to the lake house or the cottage for his mom's funeral where she runs back into Sam. They rekindle. It's so good. If you haven't read it, read it. She did release a new book. Well, she released two new books. Meet Me at the Lake. You can read it if you want to read it. I didn't like it. And I'm currently reading This Summer Will Be Different. A lot of people give this book a 5 star and say they enjoyed this book. So this is another one you can read for summer, but I haven't even finished reading this book. I think I just started last night. I'm on page 18, so hopefully we can actually get through that book, and maybe in my reading wrap up for July, in my reading wrap up for July, you'll get my opinion on that book then. But now, It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, y'all. When I read this book, I was addicted. I was addicted. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Piper and what is his name? Piper and Rick. Was it Rick? What is this bad name? I don't even remember her husband. Well, the guy name in the book. Piper and I think his name. Let me find his name, y'all, because I'm so bad with names. It's crazy. Brendan. Piper and Brendan in this book, y'all. I really just give opposite attract. She's from this rich family, well off. And something ends up happening, and her stepfather decides and mom decides to send her back to Brendan Bay, where her father grew up. It's a small town, a Fisher Island, I guess you would say, and he ends up sending them back there to guess. No, it's Westport. Where I get Brendan Bay from? Where do I get that from? Yeah, it's Westport. It's Westport, Washington, and they ends up sending her back there to stay in above her father's bar, but her father ended up dying a while ago in a shipwreck, I guess you can say, because he was a fisher and he got in the sea and ended up getting capsized and he ended up drowning. Now, she knew nothing about her father. She didn't know that she had a grandma on her dad's side that stays there. She didn't know much of anything. Y'all, I want to reread this book just to see if I'm still obsessed with it as much as I was when I did read it. It is so good. Please read it. If you haven't read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, please read this book. It is so good. The second book in this series is called Hook, Line, and Sinker. It's about Piper's sister, Hannah. You'll read it if you haven't. Now, the last book I want to recommend to you guys is Happy Place by Emily Henry. It's about a group of college friends who ends up going on their one last vacation before the girl father ends up selling the lake house, the beach house, whatever, the vacation home, before he ends up selling it. And they go back with a secret, I guess you can say, because the girl and her husband is no longer together. They're fake dating for her friend because they're up there for her friend. They didn't want to ruin anything. She didn't think he was coming, but he ends up showing up unbeknownst to her. And a lot of things end up happening here. You get to watch friendships. You get to watch marriage, second chances. You get to just watch them. First of all, I just love a friendship, a friend group, a book about friends, because you really get to see just how much they love and care for each other and how they're always there for each other and sticking up for each other. I love stuff like that. That's mainly why I love the Skyland series by Kennedy Ryan, because I just love watching females come together and bond and love on each other and pour into each other. I just love stuff like that. So when I see a friend group in a book, I'm instantly connected to it because I just love reading and watching stuff like that. But those are all the books I have to recommend. Well, those are all my favorite summer reads so far. Because y'all, we in the midst of it now, and I'm just now getting into summer reads. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in my next video. Peace. Peace up.
I'm calling bullshit. Say you got it, but you ain't got nothing. Bad bitches don't